Today I will go through quiz 3, which is chapter 3, which is ratio, rates and proportion. You don't need to worry so much because here I've included some algebra questions, where else there'll be no algebra questions, so don't worry, there'll be no algebra questions whatsoever in your progressive checks. I just did it. So as we go on to algebra and chapter 6 later on, it'll be much easier for you. Okay, so let's look at the first part. They've given you A to B, B to C, and they asked you what is ABC. So always try to write it down in columns of A, column where B are all together C, so you can see what's going on. When you write A to B is 5 to 7, B to C is 6 to 11. So from what you can see is 5 to 7, 6 to 11. So the only thing that is in common now is B. You have 2, right? 7 and 6, correct? So 7 times 6, that's the only thing that you can do. You'll get 42. Okay, so if you have times the 7 with 6, you have to also multiply the left with 6, which is 5 times 6. You understand? You'll get 30. All right? So whatever you do to the left, you have to do to the right. So if you look at B and C, what have you done to B? 6 times 7, right? So you got to times the C with 7. That's how you get 77. What you do to the left, you have to do to the right. Okay, the second one quite easy. Most of you got this right. Express the ratio of cost to the number. So the cost is 75 cents to 20 balls. So which is 15 to 4. Put it in your calculators, you'll get it in the lowest form. Alright. A stackable CD rack holds 25 CDs and costs 4. Charlie has 150 CDs. How much will it cost him to buy enough racks? All right, so I don't think this should be a problem. This should be okay as well. This, all of you, most of you got this correct. The last one as well, most of you got this correct. 20, 15 and 5, you put it in the lowest form, it will be 4, 3 and 1. A mixture contains alcohol and water in the ratio of 4 to 3. If 5 liters of water is added to the mixture, the ratio becomes 4 to 5. That means from 3 it becomes 5, okay? Find the quantity of alcohol in the given mixture. So let the quantity of alcohol in the water be, quantity of alcohol and water be 4x liters and 3x liters respectively. Okay, so what I've done there is basically using algebra to solve it. There are also other ways that you can use to solve it. Okay, but it's up to you. I've used algebra in this situation. All right, same goes to the next one. Actually, I've also used algebra to solve it. The ratio of ABCD is in the ratio of 4, 7, 3, 1. So A is 50 more than C. Okay, A is 50 more than C. So what can you see? The one way to do it is algebra. The other way to do it is basically A is 4 and C is 3, which is 1 part more, right? So if it's 1 part more, meaning 1 part represents 50. 1 part more is 50 more. So they asked you how many B blocks are there. B is 7. 7 times 50 gives you 350. So there's 2 ways to do it. Either you use algebra or you can use the method that I've just taught you. Okay, this one, I don't know, some of you got this wrong actually. How many boys and girls are there in the class? This should be quite direct. 4 to 15, total parts 19. How many girls, how many boys? You just multiply and find it. Okay, this one I think I helped most of you while you were doing it. I've used algebra here. You just write it down in order, A, B, C, D, and then the total. Then they say the second worker is paid twice the amount of the first. So B will be 2x, A will be x. And the first and third is same, x and x, all right? The fourth worker will get a quarter of what the second got. So a quarter of the second is 1 over 4 times 2x. Total is 6,000. Then you just solve it and you find x, all right? The second one here, some of you got this wrong because this is inverse proportion, all right? Because when the number of men increase, the days will decrease. So you will use inverse proportion to solve it. Okay, the next one, Amy, Betty, Cindy, Doris are sisters. This also actually is an algebra question, but I've just included it here. So don't worry if you had troubles doing this, because we will go along with it again in chapter 6. I just wanted to put it here because as we go along and you're exposed to more difficult questions, it will become easier for you. All right, so you can see the way I've done it. Basically, I've done using algebra. Okay, so you can try when somebody is saying is 7 years younger or 7 years older, you plus and minus accordingly. Amy is 2/3 as old as Betty, so 2/3 of x minus 7. Then you add up everything and solve it for x. All right, the zookeeper has enough mix to 300 eels for 20 days. If he buys 100 more eels, so that's 400. This is inverse proportion again. The number of eels finish, the taste for the vitamin mix would decrease. So you use inverse proportion. Always remember, if he buys 100 more, that means you have to add 100. Understand? Read carefully. I think this part of the question maybe wasn't very clear, but actually you're supposed to use ratio. So you know, buy one, free one. The chicken is 15. So they only pay $15, but they pay according to their part of the share, which is you divide them into ratio. Some of you just gave me the ratio directly, but no, you just gave me 3:2. Yeah, 3:2 is the ratio, but what's the part of the bill that they will pay? So Gavin will pay 3 parts out of 15, which is $9. Okay. At the start of the week, most of you got this right, but y'all gave me as a total of 2,800. Actually, you're supposed to give me one by one how much of each type of book is there. All right. The next one, 3 salesperson combined. Yeah, this one, not many of you got it right. I don't know why. Total is 8,004. Jonathan sold 3,360. I've write down there. Can you see that? Jasmine and Joshua split the remainder, which is 2,520. Okay, if 300 bonus was divided among 3 in the ratio of their sales, how much in total did they receive? So you find the ratio first. Always try to put it into the calculators and find it in the lowest form, I believe is the fastest way. So you will get the ratio. So you use the ratios and you multiply to the 300, you will see how much they get. Then you can total up Joshua's. All right. This one, most of you got this right. It's just writing it down in ratio, not a problem. Okay, the first one, okay, is also inverse proportion. It takes 5 days to paint. For 6 painters to paint, 8 painters, the number of painters increase, the days will decrease. Okay, the ratio of boys to girls, this one a lot of you couldn't do, I don't know why. It's 5 to 8, so total parts 13. The ratio now becomes 1 to 4. How many students are there in the class now? That means from 5 to 8 suddenly became 1 to 4. What would be the only comparison you can make if I multiply the end one with 2? So the girls will be 8 again. Can you see that? It will be 2 to 8. So what you can see, start with 5 and end with 2. 3 parts gone out. Always makes one part of it the same so you can compare. Because now 1 to 4 you cannot compare. You make it 2 to 8, you'll be able to compare. So 3 parts is equivalent to 15. 1 part is 5. Alright, so you can multiply to find. Alright, this is I think a repetition. We did this question just now. All right, a refinery plan. This one also, most of you got this correct. They just asked for the rate of production, barrels per hour. So you take the number of barrels, divide with the hour. Shouldn't be a problem. Even here, most of you got this correct. 3 boys to 2 girls. All right, 1 teacher is going for it. All right, so you just put it down into a ratio and you will get it. Okay, let's look at the last part of the question. Newspaper contained 1/2 advertising and 1/2 news. However, media regulation indicates a newspaper must have 4 times as much advertising as news. So advertising to news 4 to 1. Do you see that? Advertising to news 4 to 1. So 36 to 9. How do I get 36 to 9? You use ratio. 45 pages altogether, right? 4 is to 1. 5 pages, 5 parts altogether. So you use ratio, you will get 36 and 9. Based on the media regulation, they should be divided among 3 types of advertising, 5, 3, and 1. So you take the total number of pages for advertising and you divide it accordingly. All right? Okay? So 5, 3 to 1, so 20, 12, and 4 is 36. Okay? After you have made the changes, they're going to take 810,000. According to the ratio, the profit is that. So this one, all of you got this right. I don't think it was a problem. Is the last part is a problem. All right, 200ths is 2 over 100, understand? And 1/75 is 1 over 75. So how much bonus will he receive? So 2 over 100 you times with 450,000 plus 90,000. Why? Because 200ths is from retail and classified. Do you see that? And 1/75, the 1 over 75 is missing from there actually. It's supposed to be 1 over 75 times 270,000, which is for national, right? Share for national advertising. All right, how much bonus? You just add up everything and you should get 14,400. Okay, so that's about it for quiz 3. It's a little bit more difficult, but don't worry, for your progressive check, you won't get algebra questions.